is by far the messiest because there's a really good chance you're going to step on a rusty hook.
Oh, we talk about some stuff, and a good time is had in the ultimate behind-the-scenes Bassmaster segment with Jake's Take, when we break down the top 5 things that pro anglers don't want you to see. Jake Latendresse joins me this week on...
I'm Bob Cobb from the Bassmaster. Welcome to Mercer.
Welcome one, welcome all, friends, family, freeloaders, fishing freaks, and of course you, my humpers. Happy hump day to all of you, and welcome into the Awkwardly Honest Fishing Podcast that goes by my last name, which is Mercer. This is the 258th edition of the Mercer Podcast, and I hope wherever you're watching or listening from, that life is treating you well. Welcome into the show. Thank you once again for clicking the play button and hanging out with me. And first topic to cover is, should I change up the opening? I mean, I feel like I say the same, but I don't feel like I know I say the same thing always. But it's kind of like my, hi, honey, I'm home. I mean, it's just, you know, you're tuned in. Let me know in the comments. Change it up, or the show wouldn't be the same without my drivel that's the same at the beginning of every single show. Moment of total honesty. As you watch this, God willing, I am not sitting right here. I am in Muskogee, Oklahoma for the 4th stop of the Bassmaster Elite Series on the Arkansas River this week. So that should be a fun event. I look forward to seeing a bunch of you there. If you find humpers are in the vicinity, make sure to stop by weigh-in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Would love to say hello to you. It's always great to shake your hands and say hi to the fine humpers. And let's make people around us feel awkward by just yelling, hey, I'm a humper. It makes me feel good, and it makes people around us wonder, what did he just say? So please say hello. With that in mind, that means that Mercer in the Morning will be back each and every Elite Series takeoff morning, about an hour before takeoff time. And many of you enjoyed the last tournaments, Mercer in the Morning. We finally got technology figured out to a point where we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and then just right after that on Instagram. So wherever you watch it, we appreciate it. Get on YouTube. You'll get that's another reason why you need to turn your notifications on. Turn the little ringy-ding-ding thing on so you get a notification when we're live. About an hour before takeoff, I just walk around and walk and talk and see what's going on, and you never know where it's going to lead to. So hopefully you enjoy that and get an opportunity to tune into that. This week going to be a little longer because right after this event, I got Tuesday Night Live on Table Rock Lake. And if you don't know what Tuesday Night Live is, you need to go back and watch last week's podcast where we had everybody participating in Tuesday Night Live. It is 8 Elite Series anglers. They're teamed up into 4 teams. They're going to battle it out for 3 hours. It's all going to be live on YouTube, on Bassmaster.com, and on Roku. So make sure you tune in there. I plan to have a little fun on the YouTube comments with you guys. So make sure my humpers are loud and proud in those comments as we are live on Thursday night, kicking off at 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern time. And it will be myself and Mark Zona hosting all that action. So I look forward to hanging out with Z. I look forward to having fun with you guys Tuesday Night Live. You do not want to miss this. I think it's going to be a really fun, unhinged, fun tournament. It's just throwing top anglers in the world back to the old school way that everybody started fishing, and that's with a Tuesday nighter, Wednesday nighter, Thursday nighter. This time it's a Tuesday nighter, and it's on Table Rock Lake. And I wonder if, I mean, I can't do Mercer in the Morning, obviously, because we start at 4:30, but maybe we'll slide into Mercer in the midday that day. I'm going to try. Can't promise you guys because I don't know how, production for this will go, what they've got us doing and busy and where they've got us at that time. But if I can, maybe we'll have a little Mercer in the midday to get inside the minds of our anglers before takeoff. But that's going to be a fun event. Make sure to check it out. It'll be a fun week. A lot of great fishing ahead. Hope you guys are doing well and you enjoy it. And I could keep talking about a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm not going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff because let's just jump right into this week's show. We have Jake Latendresse, Bassmaster videographer extraordinaire, joining us with Jake's Take once again. But this time, we decided to do something a little different. We have the top 5 things the professional anglers don't want you to see. I think you're going to enjoy this one. It's a wonderful, it's a bit of a train wreck, but sometimes those are fun too. Without further ado, let's hook up with the man right now, Jake Latendresse with Jake's Take. A very bewildered and beaten down Jake's Take back in your life. I mean, nobody knows. Nobody knows how stressful the last 45 minutes of. I mean, you spent $1,200 in technology to be better than ever.
I thought this was going to go like completely flawless, seamless, and unobstructed. And no more than did I turn the computer on, everything went to hell in a bucket quick.
But we're here. Woo. Old school.
That was now we're back. Now we're just back to the MacBook Pro, baby.
Yeah, but you got a cool camera that follows you around.
I do.
Oh, look at there. Look at there.
Look at that. Come back to the middle. There we go, baby.
That works. That works. Oh, Jake's Take back in your life. I feel like, when somebody shows up for an event and they're just a flustered mess, I feel like that's how you're showing up for this week's show, Jake.
Yeah, the entire time I was just sitting there telling myself, okay, you gotta keep your shit together, man, because because you can't get flustered. This is one of those trying times, and you just gotta keep it calm. So this is like the last hour. I was actually watching. I got up really, really early this morning, and I was watching your podcast with all the Tuesday night tournament guys. And I was listening to Kyle Welcher and Kyle Patrick talk about Kyle Welcher's experience in the 3-hour tournament market and how he's used to it, because he was saying that he has probably fished twice as much as any elite angler in 3-hour events as anyone, twice as much. And Kyle Patrick, I was looking back and forth between the two of them, and Kyle Patrick, he seemed a little bit lost, but then he started in on, it's the last hour he gets caught in the trap of getting flustered and spun out in the last hour if he doesn't have what he needs. So that's kind of what I felt like. I felt more like Kyle Patrick this morning than I did Kyle Welcher.
Yeah. Well, let's get the wheels back in the bus. And you brought that topic up. Let's quickly go through. You've spent a lot of time in the boat with a lot of these guys. Let's go through the teams. K2, okay. Kyle and Kyle. How do you think that team's going to do?
I think Kyle Welcher is going to be wearing the pants in that boat. I think he's probably going to be. I mean, he is so well kept together. He just seems so confident in the whole scenario, the whole format. So I feel like they're probably going to do very well, because I could see Kyle Patrick playing a secondary role to Kyle Welcher. I don't know who the boat driver is and who the backseat driver is.
Welcher's captain of that team.
Okay, so I see that going Welcher's way, and I see them doing well because he knows how to most effectively use his 3-hour time slot.
Okay, Brian New and Chris Johnson.
I was really hoping he was going to get robbed on your podcast. He said that guy was about to rob him, and you said that would be really great for the show.
I mean, it would have been. I'm sorry to be selfish, but
that was super funny. That was super funny. And I never did get, because the frame was cropped, I never did get a good look at the guy that
we're probably better that way. Really?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's probably true based on where he was. But I think again, this is another yin and a yang, and Chris Johnson is the calm, collected, let's just figure this out. We have up until the last minute kind of mentality. And then you've got Brian New that who's the captain of that boat?
Brian New.
That changes things.
That's not very nice.
Great fisherman. Did he say, doesn't he? Oh, he's fished a lot of night tournaments too. And he was optimistically pessimistic because he was in the mindset that, people talk about how great the bite is at night, but he didn't really experience that because he's fished a lot of night tournaments. And he says the ones that he does well in, he always catches all his fish that he weighs in before dark.
Well, this is an evening tournament, to be clear. Like they won't be fishing in the night. It's like 4:30 to 7:30 Central, so 5:30 to 8:30 Eastern.
So it's basically those 3 hours that they wish they had in the elite tournaments in the evening. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
All right. From Team New Johnston to Bent Ike, Drew Benton and Mike Iaconelli.
I hope he wears that painter's hat. That was
entertaining.
A painter's hat.
It was a beret.
A French beret.
Yeah. He just came back from
Francais.
Yeah. Parlez-vous. How do you feel they'll do?
That is an interesting team because you've got a guy from the deep South and Drew Benton, and a guy from New Jersey, Philadelphia area, and they almost seem like a clash. But I could actually see them doing really well and working well together because of Ike's mindset and experience, along with Drew Benton's his demeanor. I actually think that team meshes well. I like them a lot.
Today's high-tech fishing world can be a real pain in the neck, especially if you're running the wrong mounts. Beat Down Outdoors, they bring the graph to you. And they support this podcast and care enough about you to make this a short ad read. Check out Beat Down Outdoors. Now back to the show.
All right, final team all meet. Drew Cook and Jason Christie.
These are probably the two guys of all 8 anglers in this event that I've spent the most time with and filmed win events. These are 2 power guys that this is like Marvin Hagler and Thomas Hearns teamed up in a tag team event. I like them. I think they're going to be strong. They're going to power fish, and I could see those guys catching at least the biggest single fish of that event.
It'll be fun. I can't wait for it. I mean, I'm excited about the Elite Series this week, but if I'm being honest, I'm more excited about this 3-hour shootout. I just think it's going to be a fun, like I've always thought tournaments are too long in some ways. Like I think the 3 hours is going to make it just must-see viewing. But speaking of boxers, you got a state champion in the house.
We do. We have, and this is actually his third. He is the 2-time back-to-back Colorado State Golden Gloves champion and this year's Silver Gloves Colorado State champion as well. He's doing well.
Well, why are you silver? What is the difference between Golden Gloves and Silver Gloves?
They're 2 different. It's like MLF and Bassmaster. It's two different sanctioned
Divisions.
events. Yeah, two different divisions, two different sanctioned events that are hosted in completely different, the same format, same bracket type format, but they just have different sponsors. It's a different title, and it's hosted by different people. The regional Golden Gloves and the national Golden Gloves only include the elite level boxers, which is 105 pounds and up. So Walker can't go to regionals. He literally caps out at the state Golden Gloves level. Whereas in Silver Gloves, when he won that state championship, he went out to Compton, California, and boxed in a tournament in the regional Silver Gloves at Oscar De La Hoya's gym. And then he obviously did not win that tournament, but the winner of that tournament went on to Missouri to fight in the nationals there. So two different events.
So congrats, Walker. Way to go. We're always getting the fine humpers are always asking for updates on how things are going. Things are going very, very well. One of the things that I love about Jake's Take is this little segment that we've created kind of brings people behind the scenes to see things. And we're in between events right now. So I threw this topic at you, and I don't even know because generally before we record, we have a quick conversation, but we literally spent 45 minutes yelling at each other. Can you hear me? No, I can't hear you. Oh, you're echoing. So we haven't even discussed this, but that's a great looking microphone. Too bad it doesn't work.
Here's a $300 microphone that does not work.
It will, though, in the future. We have faith.
It's gonna.
Are we going with top 5 things anglers don't want you to see? I just think it's a great. Whoa. Yep,
Get back
up. Get up. That happens at your age, Jake. It's
here.
okay.
Oh my God. Hey,
It's got performance anxiety. It's fine. It's fine.
That's almost better than Brian New getting robbed. That's not. There you go. Don't make me laugh, Dave.
So what are we doing other than looking like dude, you do. I'm an idiot. I just moved the hole that makes the words. For this all to be screwed up for you, this is like your job, dude.
I know. I'm just too far behind. I let technology leapfrog me, Dave.
I need to control that camera.
Man, I'm going to have to go back there and get a whiskey shot before this is over.
I have 100% faith that camera will follow you. So what are we talking about this week? Are we doing that, or what is your do you have?
What do you mean? Let's do. What'd you say? The top 5 things that anglers don't want to show.
Want you to see
the number. Well, in order.
Man, I'm just trying us to be a little bit professional. I mean, what happened to you, bro? Did you get hit by your son?
Hey, it's been weeks since I've been on this show, and
because you've been on every other podcast on earth, and that's why your mic setup screwed up because you've been bodding around.
That's the problem.
You gotta.
What'd you call it? A PTD?
An SPD. Serial SPD. Podcasting disease.
There you go. Podcastly transmitted disease.
So what are we doing, or do I need to turn into other podcasts to find this out?
No, let's do this. Let's do this, Dave. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. Number 5.
They're bait. That's the obvious answer is they're bait. They do not want to show their bait.
Not all of them, though. I think we learned that at the last event. I will say this. If young anglers of the world, if you have extra time in your life, go and watch the footage from Saturday and Sunday, especially Sunday. I mean, all week it stood out of last tournament's event. Unbelievable to watch Ike and Ellie and a bunch of different guys really take time to break down their baits. And it was like all of a sudden we went from a world of just seeing people's backs to, hey, this is the bass I fell in love with. They're showing their bait. They're showing how to work it, I mean, that's a big part of what people fall in love with. And I think, and I love the younger generation anglers, very supportive, so supportive that sometimes I get crucified for supporting them. But get your head out of your ass and start showing your bait. We didn't turn this into it's your top 5 list, but I just have to say, like, that is a big part of the sport. Everybody watching this podcast, they want that information. They want to see it. I get it. You got to keep a few secrets, but give us a little something. Like if you look at, I watched Tucker Smith, and I love you, Tucker. Before I say this, I love your family. You're all wonderful people. I even love that dog. Mika, I believe the dog's name is Mika. But I watched Ike and Ellie catch a 2.5 pounder, and you would have thought it was an 8 pounder. I watched Tucker catch a 2.5, maybe 3 pounder just a few minutes later, and you would have thought it didn't even matter for the tournament. Like it's just that important. And I'm not telling you have to scream and yell like Ike, but you got to give something to the fans because that's what they tune in for.
At the end of the day, this is all about entertainment, right? I mean, it's fishing. It's fishing. Just like baseball, football, basketball, whatever, they're entertainers, and you got to be an entertainer to win in this industry, right?
So who's the most uncomfortable that you've because we chat.
Uncomfortable in what way?
Like that doesn't want to show their bait and you try to see it.
Oh, that's easy. I think they're the ones that started all this would be Taku and Kilya. They're the most... Taku started it. Yeah, us, we started it. Yeah, how about that bailout?
Go ahead.
The Japanese anglers started that because they had baits that were so unique and so different and so non-traditional that Taku was really the one that was hiding his baits from the very beginning on Lake St. Clair when he became the Taku that we know today. Right. And he had these little bitty plastic creatures that didn't even look like anything, and he didn't want anyone to see him, and he smashed them, right? He started it. Yeah. And Kilya refined the technique of not allowing the camera to see the bait because they didn't trust the camera guys.
I think that they're a prime example. Those two anglers are a prime example of how marketing works, because Takumi does it with a smile and giggling and talking about ordering pizzas and what is the lamprey, all the different things that have happened with him over the years, and nobody notices. Like people are just like, oh, he's ordering pizzas and lampreys. And then Kaya, very much more direct, but they're both doing the same thing. But the marketing of Takumi is much better.
He's a smokescreen guy. He's a smokescreen guy, and Kilya is more like Spider-Man.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. So that's number 5. What is number 4? Unless you have more to add to number 5.
Number 4 would be location, waypoints. They're constantly looking around. I feel like sometimes that's a distraction because when they can tell when a tournament boat is approaching and within 2 miles of them just by the sound of the engine, right? And they're constantly, their head's on a swivel. When they're not looking for fish, they're looking for other boats. And, you don't know if they're either looking for other boats to see where they're fishing because they're not catching fish, or if they're catching them, they're looking to see if other boats are watching them. I remember one time where were we? Maybe it was at Wheeler, somewhere on the Tennessee River. I was in Zaldane's boat, and Brandon Card was not too far away, and he just kept looking back because he was like, he was spooning those big largemouth, and he boat flipped a 7.5 pounder because he didn't want to take the time to land the fish properly. A 7.5 pounder. He just wanted to get it in the boat quickly, because not only did he see Brandon Card a few hundred yards away, he could hear another boat coming by making a run. So he literally boat flips a 7.5 pounder in the bottom of the boat. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I don't think they get, to be honest, I get that. And I don't think that the anglers in general, like, I don't think because we love this sport, I don't think any of us give them enough credit for how they compete. Like, dude, I mean, I was obsessed with the Masters last week, but I mean, you can't, when you hear somebody yell something, guess what? They're never coming back to the Masters again. They get thrown out forever. They compete in a sport that, like, and Live has helped that. Live has helped keep the flotillas down. But I'm telling you, like, the amount of, like, an angler leaves and they just, and I'm not talking about fellow competitors. I'm talking about spectators. I mean, you just hear everybody punching in waypoints, and it's so tough to do what they do. And then on top of it, you're doing it on public playing fields, and your competitors, I mean, so I don't mind the, like, looking over your shoulder. I think
no, it's natural. Yeah. I think it's natural for a competitor to do that. I mean, it's like, we all know location is so key, right? And when a guy I'll take a step back and use an example in the Classic this year in Knoxville, when I was with, who was I with? Drew Cook and Dylan Nutt came by with his the anaconda of boats behind him, and they literally trashed the point that Drew Cook was trying to fish on. Literally trashed it because all those boats came by and muddied up the entire point. So, location is probably number 4. That they have the most.
And let's be honest, it's not just spectators, it's competitors too. Like, look at what's happened. I mean, not to call anyone out, but there is people that do some moving throughout the tournament. You look at Lake St. Clair. I mean, the last time we were there, Anchor Bay, well, that's been the last 2 times Anchor Bay's been a big player, but Anchor Bay previous to that was never, ever a player in that event. A group of, let's say, 25 boats got onto that on day one. Well, that group of 25 boats, 30 boats turned into 60 or 70 boats the next day. So location, it's just like real estate. Location is everything, Jake. So
I remember days on St. Clair years ago where we might see another boat or 2 all day long.
Yeah.
And then like you said, and then that tournament when Anchor Bay came into play, it was like, well, wonder where the fish are biting.
Do you think that encroachment by fellow anglers has gotten more since forward-facing sonar became such a big player?
That is a really, really good question. I would say, just as a knee-jerk answer to that question, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Because it's an open water. It can, when it's an open water live scoping deal, then they tend to congregate out there where those fish are in the pelagic environment, like where that really started on Champlain. That area got, up until the last day, there were a lot of boats out in that open water fishing for those same fish.
Yeah, and I think the big difference is before you were fishing a particular edge or a piece of structure. So there's only so much of that edge. Let's say it's a weed line. Let's say it's a drop off. It's a hump, whatever. But there's only so much of that hump. So when you get a couple anglers on it, the hump is covered and you've kind of put your stake down to ownership. Well, now you're chasing transient fish. You know what I mean? So you might start at that hump, but you end up following them wherever they go. And I just feel like it's kind of opened the acceptance to Rubbins racing out there. You see it a lot more.
I agree. That the one exception to that rule might be on a huge body of water like Lake Ontario, where everyone's kind of got there. And there's so, once you get to the mouth, you know, it becomes so vast that perhaps there's enough room for people and there's enough fish, big fish, that people don't congregate in the same area. I mean,
well, there is one particular spot that does get a lot of attention.
Yeah, that's true too. Robert G. and Chris Johnson.
Ironically, right in front of me right now.
There
I have the T-Walk sticker. Well, I should have held one up because I also have the limited edition
Taku. Wow, I need that sticker.
Yeah, I got one from his child too. His child told me it's much more. His sticker is much more powerful. I'm not even going to show it on this show because I don't have it in front of me. Number 3.
The thing that anglers least want to show the spectators, probably the mess in their boat.
They have messy boats?
Some do and some don't. Like the Kevin Van Dams and the Brandon Poliniks and the Jordan Lees and the Jason Christies of the world. And I'll throw Lee Livesey in there too. They're completely, everything has its spot. Like, it's almost like number coloring. You know what I mean? Number painting.
So even Jordan's in that list? Because I wouldn't assume Jordan. I mean, I'm probably judging from years ago, but I remember I got in his truck once and a lot of stuff fell out.
That might be number 2.
So who are the messiest? If they're the cleanest, who's the messiest?
Jacob Fouts is by far the messiest. Like, you need to wear steel-toe boots in his boat because there's a really good chance you're going to step on a rusty hook. Matt Robertson is really disorganized.
What?
You remember the rusty channel locks he was using?
How can you say that about Matthew Robertson?
I will never forget I think we were on Pickwick. I was with Matt, and he had a hook, or he was fishing a ledge, and the fish choked the bait, and he couldn't find his pliers, and all he had were these rusty channel locks. And it worked, but that was a Matt Robertson thing. So yeah, there's some guys that are pretty dang messy.
Yeah. Does that seem to affect their angling? Like, do you think Fouts and Robertson would be better if they were a little?
I think Robertson probably would benefit from a little bit more organizational skill, but I think Jacob Fouts, he does it on purpose because his bait pile becomes his superstition in his boat. When he throws a bait down, then it just adds to the pile, and that pile supposedly stays in the boat as is the entire season. He won't clean it out until the season's over.
It just gets bigger and bigger. So I remember, like, a few years ago, he had a great season. And I remember, I think it was you that was riding with him, or somebody was riding with him, and there was like, there's no room for the camera guy to put their feet.
Oh yeah, exactly. It was like a burial mound.
I knew I got one of these in here somewhere.
Yeah, there's no like, that's one of those messes that you can't shake loose. You know what I mean?
So those are the top. Is there anyone else? Who else is a pig pen?
A messy. Kelia and Taku are really organized. Except Taku has like 8 GoPros in his boat, so you got to be careful where you pee. I'm trying to think of another messy angler.
There's just 2.
Yeah, no, there's more. There's more. I just can't think of them right now.
All right.
They're either really messy or they're really organized. Yeah. And I learned from KVD a long time ago that organization and efficiency go hand in hand. And I think you get more done because you're not fumbling around with all your crap when you're disorganized. But some people thrive in that environment, and that's just how they live. And, I'm always like, man, I bet your freaking room at home is a mess. I bet your mom stays mad at you.
When people ask me what the Elite Series is like compare it to other things, like what is the difference on the Elite Series? I always use that term that you just talked about, effectiveness. Like I'm like, every bit of effectiveness is drained out of a day in most anglers. Now, there's the exception, which we just talked about, but Kevin's a prime example. I mean, Kevin, everybody, if you haven't seen it, Google a video of Kevin Van Dam changing treble hooks without split ring pliers. He does it so fast with his hands, faster than I can do it with split ring pliers. I mean, it's one of the most amazing things, but that's also what you see in the Elite, like the amount of, it's just total effectiveness. Like the amount of wasted time is so minimal. Like the way they come off pad and run up to the front, their boat comes off plane and it hasn't dropped. And you see some of the incredible still images over the years, Overstreet shot and, all Sago, all of them. The guys are halfway up their deck before that boat comes down. Like they're grabbing the trolling motor while it's still. And that's just, it's the effect. And like every single second counts.
That's why when something breaks, even when that's why they go, I used to wonder, why do they waste so much time going to get a chatterbait out of a blowdown? And it's like, because I used to think, okay, they probably have boxes and boxes full of free baits, coming out of their ears. And the fact of the matter is they buy a lot of their baits and they don't want to lose them because they cost $20. Secondly, I think it's more efficient for them to go ahead and blow that blowdown out instead of breaking it off and having to retie and start again. It's all about efficiency. And like we've, already talked about, some are better at it than others, but I also feel like the ones that are really good at it are probably more consistent.
Yeah.
Avco not only makes incredible outdoor clothing, but they care about anglers with their 10% pledge. Avco and the Shed family donate at least 10% of the company's profits to conservation and making fishing better. Now back to the show.
I also think a lot of that's, and I've yet to figure out why, but everybody that's ever fished knows, like there's certain baits. There's just certain baits that I don't know what they have been anointed by the fish gods or what, and I'm not meaning a brand. Like you could take 4 of the exact same baits, lay them side by side, and there's one of them that just has the right, and a bladed jig is one of those. There's certain bladed jigs that just have the right, not frogs yet. There's certain ones that just.
I totally agree.
It's wild. It's wild.
They don't run right. They don't. I mean, frogs was an awakening. Like I used to think a frog is a frog is a frog, right? You might have to squish some water out of them from time to time, but some of them take in more water than others. Some of them don't freaking dog right. Some of them sink and pop back up, and the fish don't like it. And who was I with the last tournament? Throwing a frog where they tied a new frog on because they lost. They set the hook on a fish and it snapped the line. They got a new frog out, cut the tassels down, tied it on, threw it like 4 times and said, I hate that. He literally said, I hate that frog. And then went in his box and started searching. I think it was Welcher. Yeah. It was Welcher at the Open. That's where it was. And he searched through his box, and this box talk about efficiency. He took his frog and he lays the tassels in the bottom first and then lays the frog on top of it so they don't get hung up on the edges and the box doesn't close right. Like his frog box was the most organized frog box I've ever seen in my life. And that he's just an example of how he went through different frogs until he found another one, and not one did he pick up that was running the way that one he lost was. And he was genuinely upset that fish took his frog.
Yeah. He's a very analytical angler too. Like the way it's pretty amazing to see.
He is truly, between him and Hackney, as far as verbally cerebral and on a different level. I'm not saying a better level, but they have this different kind of mentality that is a really interesting perspective. And when you get in the boat with them, then you understand what the definition of a technician is in terms of angling. They're both really, really interesting to be around.
And he's always been that way. Like you would think that Welcher would change over time. Like, okay, when you look what he's accomplished, you're like, okay, well, no wonder he's like that. But he showed up that way. Like I remember, it wasn't the first conversation I had with him, but one of the first times I remember talking to Tommy and Zone and being like, this dude's different. It's like the way it wasn't so much what he believed, it's what he doesn't believe that stands out to me. I forget where we were, but there was an angler that was leading, that was making a long run, and they had decided not to make that long run that day. And like the way, when I said they're not going, and the way his head snapped around and was just like, what? Like, you've got a chance. Like, it doesn't compute to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is
right.
It's something that you see from Kevin, something you saw from Aaron, it's just he's a very lethal competitor.
That's what makes them good closers. Like Jason Christie's that way too. They understand they play to win, and they have that mentality, and that makes them good closers. And some people can make it to day 4 and they get rattled, or plan A fails, then plan B fails, and then they've got nothing else. And these other guys understand how to adjust because of their mentality, and they know how to close the deal. That's the difference between consistent champions and every so often champions.
All right, 3 down, 2 more to go. Okay. What's number 2?
2 for sure, now that we've talked about it briefly, is the interior of their vehicles. And I'm telling you, I know this because sometimes when we come to the dock at the end of the day, I'll say, hey, man, do you want me to go get your truck? And they'll say, sure. The keys are in the gas tank or whatever. And so
oh, my God. You just exposed them.
I know. There's 40 freaking trucks out there, $100,000 trucks with key fobs in the tanks. I know. They're going to have to find a different hiding spot. By the way, I'm selling these key magnets. You can put them anywhere. They're $29.99. 1-800-JAKES take. So most of the time, I would say 9 out of 10 trucks that I get in and I go, oh my God, this truck is a mess. Regardless of what their boats look like, their trucks have snuff cans, spit cups, sunflower seeds, peanut shells, Buc-ee's freaking popcorn. Like, they're usually a mess. And, that not taking too much away from them, that can often be day 3 or day 4. And anywhere I go, I'll admit too, after a 3 or 4 day camping trip, all my stuff's a mess too anyway. So I get that, but I would say their truck is number 2.
They live in their trucks, right?
Yeah, they do.
One of the weirdest things, that's one of the fun things about when I run around and do Mercer in the morning. You're shooting right in their trucks a lot of times. And one of the weirdest things ever, and I'm thankful, as the guy who stands on the stage with them, I'm thankful. Cooper Gaunt had like 5 deodorant sticks. Sweat much? He was ready. In case it got warm, I guess. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in an angler's truck?
That I can talk about?
You can talk about anything. You just can't assert a name to it, I guess. I mean, or you can.
The weirdest thing, man, honestly, probably like baby pacifiers, the ones that have kids.
Well, it's not weird. That's just
kind of weird.
Not if you have a child.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else. Empty beer cans, lots of empty beer cans.
Boy, you are making the anglers.
I'm not saying any names. You told me I didn't have to.
All right. I feel like you mailed in number 2. I'll be honest. I mean, good
Whoa,
God, your microphone,
back here.
That camera is possessed.
Get
Caroline, come towards the light. Go towards the light, Caroline.
Behave.
That's what we're calling your camera for now on. It's Caroline.
Okay.
So I feel like you mailed in number 2. I feel like it was a little weak. So I'm expecting big things.
Yeah.
The number one thing. Put in a drum roll. Oh, we got bitchin' sound effects. Don't worry. We got bitchin' sound effects.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. The number one.
They're weenies. They always check when they have to go to the bathroom. They always say, "Hey, is your camera on? I got to go pee. Is your camera on? I got to go pee." Sometimes they'll go, "What? Here's the worst. Here's the worst. When I know they're about to go urinate and they tell me, "Okay, I got to go to the bathroom." So I put my camera down. I close the lens, and they're upwind of me, and it's really windy. And I'm thinking they go to the right side of the front of the boat. Then I go to the left side of the back of the boat because I don't want the wind blow to splash me from on the back of the boat. But these are things that we have to live with, Dave. What is that facial expression?
I'm just thinking of how unhydrated they are too.
Yeah, and hopefully they didn't eat asparagus the night before.
Oh my God. The lucky buff. Now I know why you wear it.
I'll pull that thing over my head. I can only wear it one day too.
So yeah, well, I mean, I'm appreciative that they don't want to show their weenies to the world. I mean, the world wants to see a lot of pro anglers, but probably not that part. I would ask you your most uncomfortable bathroom experience, but we've already heard about that, which involved you.
That's apparently a 45-minute conversation that's very popular in Japan at the moment.
If you haven't seen that show, go back and check. It's a past show called The Shittiest Championship Sunday Ever. You'll enjoy it.
And it was.
Have you ever had, while we're on potty talk, have you ever had like uncomfortable like anglers in situations where they got to go places and that to me is amazing that anglers, I mean, they're out there for a long time. They got a lot of boats following them. I mean, is that ever a challenge? Like, or they were all taken care of by the time you used him?
That's a funny question because I used to concern myself with that too. Like, oh my God, there's 10 followers. They're pulling as soon as we pull up. That's when I really have to go. I'm like, okay, the next time we move locations, as soon as we pull up, he's still got to get his trolling motor down. He's got to get his rod out and all that stuff. So that's like the perfect time to go to the bathroom for the camera guy. But then everybody's got GoPros on one of their power poles or talons or whatever they're using now, and Raptors. And so you got to go to one side or the other. And then the gallery of people pull up behind them are always pulling up really close, especially if they're moving down a shoreline. They get really close. So I've just gotten to the point now to where the best way to handle it is just to go ahead and freaking let her rip, because you'll see like, if, let's say there's 5 boats back there, including Sego or a camera guy or whatever. Then when they pull up and you just stand up and you start peeing, everybody goes like this. They all turn their head. Everybody turns their head. So the best way to do it is to just go. And I would like to throw that out there for advice to the high school and college kids, because we've had issues in the past filming like high school, and especially the high school national championships, where, you know, they complain about, because we're in separate, they have a captain and they have 2 anglers in the boat. So there's 3 people. So the camera guy is always in another camera boat. So we're always back behind the anglers' boats and with a camera in our hand, and they're scared to go to the bathroom. So it's like, my advice to you guys is just let her rip, because we see it coming. And as soon as we do, we turn around and act like nothing ever happened.
It can be an uncomfortable situation.
I've run a Yamaha outboard for over 30 years. It has got me home safe each and every time. If you enjoy this podcast, remember, Yamaha supports it, and they care enough about you to make this ad read very short. Now back to the show.
There's one particular pro on tour that takes an aqua dump every single morning. And one morning, for the longtime listeners to this show, you know who I'm talking about, but I don't need to throw him under the bus. He's actually admitted to this and told the story on this show. Go back and watch all our past shows. So he takes an aqua dump. Like he goes, launches boat and everything. And allegedly it's a much better, healthier. Like that's how you're not supposed to sit down and answer texts. You're supposed to like crouch and everything. And it's true. Like whenever I've been in that situation, gravity does its job. Well, he does that. So he pulls out in the dark every morning before takeoff. And that's his pattern, where he goes and has an aqua dump. Well, once he took said aqua dump and rolled back into tie up and get ready for the top 10 takeoff. And his significant other at the time said, "What in the hell is that?" On the back corner of his deck, he did not hear a splash. Particular. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Not.
Oh no.
No, not good at all. Not good at all.
That's especially bad for a camera guy, because you might step in it.
Well, they took care of it. I mean, they were very. I mean, when you do see that you've defecated on your boat, you don't let it sit there.
Can you imagine had she not caught that and the camera guy stepped in it and tracked it all over the back?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I always hear stories about people with, you've always heard these stories about different people, and I know somebody who claims that it happened to them, but they had, a floater suit with the big hood and everything. So you unzip it and they had to, so they pull it all down around, and then they do their business and think everything's good. And then when they put the hood back up, the hood, you know where it went.
I've actually seen that with a duck hunter a long time ago. A good buddy of mine did that same thing.
Yeah, not good.
Not good. Not good.
Yeah.
Clear the path, baby. Clear the path.
Well, I don't know if this was a good top 5 or a bad top 5, but it was somewhat honest.
That was good. That was good. I like these. These are funny.
Arkansas River next. You're going to be there, right? You're not. No.
I will be there. I'm only going to be there for the Saturday and Sunday. I know. Dude, my kid. I'm in a place in life where my kids are so active with softball, gymnastics, boxing, and football that I just don't want to miss anything. And there's nothing more important to me than that. So, I've shaved a few. I'm cutting corners now, but that's just the way it is.
No, dude, you'll never ever regret time you spend with your kids. That's for sure.
That's right. Exactly.
I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start showing up on Saturday and Sunday. God, the week must fly by when you just show up for the last 2 days.
It's like an open.
Yeah, you're all charged up, got tons of energy.
I'm ready to go, baby. Let's go.
Not beat down. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you Saturday, Sunday. This will be a fun event, I think. Like this will be the fourth event in the 50-50 schedule. I think we've learned some stuff. Numbers don't lie. If you take the Tommy and Zona talked about this on TNZ. Check it out if you haven't watched that podcast. You need to. It's a great podcast. But it stands out to me how amazing, if you take our 4 events that we've had, if you include the classic. So the 2 events that have allowed forward facing sonar were won by somebody that was under 22, I believe. Mm-hmm. And the 2 events that have no forward facing sonar have been won by somebody over 50. So, I think this one's going to be very interesting because this is a forward facing sonar allowed event, but we're on a river. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays. I think I think this is going to be just a fun event. It's supposed to be, according to Prefish, it is windy.
And is it supposed to rain? I heard Jason Christie talking about it's supposed to rain the whole time. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I guess. That's the last I checked, a bunch of rain. And I think it's kind of a mix, but thankfully it's coming during the event, because if it had to come before the event, from what I know, that part of the world, we probably wouldn't be fishing.
Right.
So
they're going to be dealing with muddy water, river system, current, some backwater. They, assuming some fish are still going to be spawning in that area. Yep. Yeah. Spawn. Who's your pick?
Christie is tough to bet against. I know it's rare to go back to back, but he knows that body of water very well. I think the Prefish leads up to him, you know what I mean, with guys not being able to get around as well. Tough to bet against Jason Christie, but I'm going to go and I'm going to throw it. And it's just somebody I want to see catch him, because it's so rare not to see him catching him. I'm going Greg Hackney. Let's have a Hackney, because, dude, he doesn't live where he lives in points. Never, ever. But I can't take Christie because I think that's kind of a layup. Everyone's going to take Christie. I don't know how. I can't wait to hear from Kyle Jesse what percentage Jason Christie was in his bracket, but it has to be the record. It has to be the most ever. If not, it's got to be close. So that's a layup. But I'm going to go Greg Hackney, but there's also, I would expect Welcher to catch him. There's a lot of guys. Corey Johnson should catch him. John Garrett seems to catch him everywhere. Who you picking?
I'm throwing Luke Palmer in there.
Yeah.
I'm throwing Luke Palmer in there. He's kind of a layup. He's not a slam dunk at the moment, but, he's an Oklahoma boy, and I could see him doing well with spinner baits. Jason Christie, obviously. And I think Hackney's a really, really good pick. And he's one of those guys, if anyone's going to dig himself out of a hole, Greg Hackney is a kind of guy that can dig himself out of a deep hole with a freaking garden shovel,
Yeah.
I could see that happening. He's going to have the right baits in his hands, his experience, especially if it's muddy. I could see that working out real well for him. So I think that's a good pick.
Dakota's another one. Keep your eyes on Dakota. Dude. Oh, yeah. Dude, he made his first cut. Took him, I think, 4 or 5 events into his Elite Series career to make his first top 50 at Lake Fork. Has not missed a top 50 since. He is fishing lights out.
He's locked in, dude. What do you think that is? What do you like? Because they go from different bodies of water to the next, changing environments, adjusting. I mean, aside from the obvious, he just knows what he's doing. How some people, they get locked in for an entire season, and then 2 seasons later, they have the worst season of their life. What is that?
I think success breeds confidence, and confidence is everything in this sport. And the more success you have, the more confident you. Like, one doesn't exist without the other. You can be super confident, but if you don't have success, sooner or later that confidence gets beat down and it gets replaced by doubt. He is right now, I mean, they're all confident going in this, but he is right now fishing lights out on top of the world. You know that feeling when you've just had a child. Like, I remember, I told him that story. I remember driving home after our first child, and just like, I remember I was literally just leaving the hospital to go home and grab some stuff and go back to the hospital. I remember like just singing to myself and just being like on the top of the world. Like, it's the greatest high on earth. So I feel like he's just, and that's kind of, let's be honest, that's where Dakota's lived most of his career, with the exception of the first few events in the Elite Series. So I think it's confidence and the ability to just always believe it's going to happen. There's no doubt that creeps in. So, I mean, I just think that's what it, and I think you see that in every sport. I mean, you look at the Masters, and that's a different sport where you're not have a control. You don't have a fish that move. Fishing's like golf, except the hole moves and you can't see it. Well, you can a little bit now. 50% of our events. Yeah. But and you look at like Rory's week, dude. If they had just kept play, if they'd played the next 2 rounds right after Saturday or right after Friday, there was no stopping him. Like the way he was playing, but like those things creep in your head and you start to doubt. And I'm no golf expert, but it seemed like some of his putts were like a little tentative. You know what I mean? Like just didn't have the power that they had the day before. So I think it's just normal. I think it's normal. I mean, I just think that's all it is. What do you think it is?
But I was sitting there thinking while you were talking about the highs of you having your firstborn child born, and that being such a really a physical and mental rush and high. Ironically, 4 or 5 years down the road, when your kid's 4 or 5 years older and things start getting more complicated in your family because you're missing out on events and things that, like we just talked about, me cutting back to 2 days, that plays a role in the mentality of getting locked in and not being as focused and feeling some guilt about being away all the time. So, I mean, one of my boxing coach used to tell me that, you think this is physical, but it's 90% mental. And I've always carried that, little gesture in my life, because everything in life is probably 90% mental and 10% physical.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that goes, that flows right into fishing as well, especially when you're that competitive and there's that much on the line, because it's not just fishing for $100,000. It's every event doesn't make or break your career, but it starts to turn your vehicle into a certain direction. And like you said before, confidence breeds success, and failure, breeds lack of confidence in a sort of a cross analysis where you start to fail a little bit and then all of a sudden it starts going downhill really fast. And how do you get yourself out of it,
Yeah. Yeah. And to make it better, there's a thing that got created years ago, the baby pattern, where it makes people believe that, hey, if I have a kid, I'm going to catch him just because bass seem to love that. Yeah. But I'm impressed that you recovered and you were confident enough to do this podcast, because the world doesn't know how beat down you were this morning.
Dude, hey man, like 2 hours ago, we had 2 hours to fish, and I had 0 fish in my live well. Now I feel like we've got at least 3.
Well, you let us know in the comments. Do you think we got a
I'm not
limit
saying
here?
I'm not saying we caught a limit, baby, but I don't have to go back to the scales with 0.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I'll yell some stuff when you're on stage.
Hey, Buddha saved me.
Is that who saved you, Buddha, back there?
Buddha and Taku.
Thank you, dude. See you in a few days.
All right. Thanks, Mercer.
Well, you let us know. Was this show a few fish short of a limit? I don't know. That's really up to you guys, but I will tell you what it was. It was a good time. It is always a good time when Jake Latendresse drops by the show with Jake's Take. Always a good time. And it is a special time because today, as you watch this show, is Jake's birthday. That's right. It was such a technical mess with things. I forgot to tell him happy birthday on the show, but that's why we do these segments, so I can say happy birthday, Jake. Thank you for everything you do for this show. And I want you guys to do me a favor. Blow up the comments with happy birthdays to Jake. Make him feel good. And hopefully his camera stays up at his age. I mean, it did happen. I mean, I'm not making it up. Have a great week. Thank you for watching. And hey, I look forward to seeing a bunch of you in Oklahoma. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Make sure to swing by the weigh-in, say hello, and holler at me if you're a humper. I would love to shake your hand. Love to meet you. Mercer in the morning, each and every Elite Series morning, about an hour before takeoff time. Make sure to check that out. YouTube, Facebook, and shortly after on Instagram Live. You can watch it all. I appreciate your support. Make sure to turn on that ringy dingy if you're a YouTube viewer, and you'll be reminded when it goes live. And that's not all. If you love bass fishing, there's a whole bunch more. We also have Tuesday Night Live. That's right. Next Tuesday, April 21st, I believe. April 21st. That sounds about right. Yes. April 21st. Starting at 4:30 Central Time, 5:30 Eastern Time. It will be 3 hours of fun tomfoolery and top-level bass fishing, which will be hosted by Mark Zona and myself, which is guaranteed to be a good time. Humpers, unite. Get in the comments. Get in the live chat of the YouTube. I plan to try and involve you guys as much as possible. So be loud, be proud. And I would truly appreciate that. And then next Wednesday, I'll be right back here with another one of these. And who knows who our guest will be. And then also on Mondays, we also post a full-length Facts of Fishing episode. So make sure you're checking those out. Even if you're not watching, just press play once a week. It helps the channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Do all those things that help stroke the algorithm. I thank you all for everything. And I remind you, before you leave here today, Humpers, remember, everybody is fighting a battle. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Go out there, spread happiness, spread kindness, hold a door open, reach out to a buddy you haven't talked to in a while. It'll make their day better, which will in turn make your day better and make the world a better place. And hey, while you're at it, make sure to let Jake know happy birthday. Have a great week. Enjoy being. And as always, Bob Cobb, take it away.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, because Bob Cobb of the Bassmasters told you to. You hear?